What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Put It in the Book Show off-season special number 2. We are tonight's entertainment. I am Steve. I got Rodriguez right over there. What's up, buddy? How's it going? I
What
see,
happened?
Joe.
Where'd I go?
That's.
I'm here.
I don't know if that's producer
Doesn't
Joe or
matter.
that asshole down there,
Producer Joe's
but
up to his.
welcome in that asshole down there,
like it.
Keith. What's up, buddy?
Oh,
Hey, what's up,
wow.
guys?
Hi,
So somebody
Jinx.
figures out how to play. Oh, good Lord. Good
Take the
Lord.
toy away from him, please. All right, we're here
Yeah.
for another
Pretty much.
another fun episode here because we've got stuff going on. This is, we talked about this being the off season, that the Mets are finally involved in things, and they sure as shit are. And it's causing some anxiety around Mets Twitter, Mets Facebook, and the such. But before we get started in all that, as we typically do here, let's pass it off to Mr. Laris to talk about what's the name of that coffee? Brooklyn.
Water, coffee
Ooh,
roasters.
water.
Brooklyn.
Coffee roasters.
Brooklyn.
Yo.
Nice.
Check it out.
Santa.
Brooklyn Water Coffee Roasters.com
Very nice.
from their roastery to your front door. Only the finest beans are hand selected for your
Boom it all over the
pleasure.
place.
They're trying to pleasure you with their beans.
one
They're
way to
really
put it.
delicious. There's a ton of flavors out there, such as dark roast, dark chocolate. It's a rich chocolatey flavored coffee. And the chocolate flavor is infused. I just wanted to use that word into the coffee, and it's chocolatey. So it's you just got to be careful how much you drink because what are the calorie? What's the calorie count on that one, Farach? I forgot.
Let me look that up. 4 minus 2 carry the 7. Settle!
Boom! You don't have to watch. You can have a third cup. Screw it. Run around your house all day, working from home. There's
Do it.
also there's also Winter Wonderland, delicious flavor. I love it. Then there's the High Energy Line coffee. It's 50% more caffeine per cup. Such as what we like to call our friend Rodriguez Jacked Up Cupcake. It's a rich vanilla flavored cupcake coffee, infused. It's really delicious. My favorite, as I always say, Cinnabuzz. Also 50% caffeine. And if you're not into the flavors, there's plenty of other options, such as medium roast, which is hands down one of the most popular coffees. Try it out. You will not regret it. Act now and use code POPCULTURES on your checkout. After buying 2 bags, you'll get your 3rd bag free. Pop Culture Pros.
That was a very fast read. And I don't know why I'm
not
like
done.
I'm like a little flag there right now.
No, I did go a little fast. Yeah, I usually buy more time. But that's, again, www.brooklynwatercoffeeroasters.com. From their roastery to your front door. All orders are guaranteed to ship within 4 hours of its roast.
Wait, but I don't know what's going on in my video here. Are you seeing
Oh,
what
you
I'm
look-
seeing?
Yeah, you look better.
I
that
look
way.
good? I look good?
Oh, wait, we lost Rodriguez.
Yeah, we lost all sorts of stuff's going on right now.
All right.
Huh? Alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
What's the you just got some Brooklyn Water coffee, right?
I did. I got actually Winter Wonderland and Cinnabon my 2 favorite. Winter Wonderland, which is available all year round, but specifically I usually get around the holiday time. It's delicious. It's like a white chocolate type flavor. There goes Rodriguez. Farach, jump in and out. See if you can get your link back.
All right, fine.
Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties, folks.
Keep talking Brooklyn Water Coffee Roasters.
Brooklyn Water. www.brooklynwatercoffeeroasters.com. Like I said before, just use code POPCULTUREPROS on your checkout. After buying 2 bags, you'll get your 3rd bag free. So now that he's gone, Rodriguez, let's talk some turkey. Farachi's gone. We're going to keep him out of the studio. Farachi was, wow. Now Rodriguez is gone. I share not the internet connection that Rodriguez and Farachi have. So I am going to be available to you consistently. You'll have more of me and less of them today. We're going to bring you a good show today. We're going to talk a little bit about Steve Cohen, his Twitter. There we go. It is.
Oh, we lost Rodriguez again.
Yeah, I was just telling everybody that we're going over what we're going to talk about today. Steve Cohen's Twitter, or teaser, as
Twitter
Farachi
teaser.
likes to call it. He likes to dangle these little nuggets in front of us that have no possible way of becoming true. I mean, there is a possible way, but there's no
Well,
real fire behind his comments. He's just kind
well,
of messing with
here's
us.
here's the one that got me. You want the good news or you want the bad news?
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
then thousands of comments streaming through his Twitter feed. And I saw a couple of people like it must have been a Rays fan, and he's like, "Oh, those are the bad news. The good news is that you are so upset with buying the Mets that you decided to sell them already, and you're going to buy the Rays." Somebody else said, and it was it was a Knicks profile that had like 25,000 followers or so, and that profile said, "Oh, you got Dolan to to sell the Knicks," and then of course the good news was that he lost 2 pounds, and the bad news was that the winter meetings were going so slowly. And some of the other things that he was teasing was, should I check with Sandy, see how things are going? Today, I don't remember which, in the know guy. I think it was Buster Olney. Buster Olney said something, and then Steve Cohen replied to his tweet saying, "Hey, keep me up to date, please."
Funny.
I like it. I like that he's doing that. But the good news, bad news thing could backfire on him with this fan base.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of his personality, which is really cool. With the Wilpons, you never really had that. And just taking another step back real quick with the buy the Knicks comment, of the 3 major franchises in New York, not including football, in the 5 boroughs, Yankees, Mets, and Knicks, also the Rangers too, so I guess it's 4. One of those teams have a good owner, the rest don't. The rest was Wilpons and the Dolans, and they are just notoriously hated through New York. So that's why Met fans celebrate so much when we get Cohen. I'm sure I don't need to explain that to the fan base we have here, but they also want Cohen to buy the Knicks to get rid of Dolan because he's been tanking that franchise forever.
It's to the point where it's just like it's hard to even stay involved with what the Knicks are doing. But let's take it back to the Mets. So we're going to talk about a little bit more of Steve Cohen. We'll talk about another Trevor that we signed, without it being the correct Trevor. We'll talk about the DH. We'll talk about the paradigm shift that is taking place or has taken place. As being Met fans here. We'll talk about the minor league affiliates and what transpired with them, and then of course we get to we'll discuss James McCann, and let's get right into that. Why don't we, Mr. Laris? Today, we've been hearing the rumblings that the Mets are in on McCann. Last week we heard something about it could be a 4-year deal, $9 million a year. And we've heard a lot more about McCann than we have about Real Muto. And so today, we heard that it was getting intense. It could be getting close. No details were talked about. But just in the last few minutes, Keith, we spoke about this as we were coming on. The Angels are in the mix also. There's a number of teams in the mix for McCann. But now it seems as though the Angels are a potential there. He is from Santa Barbara, so they're talking about if the offers are close, the Mets could potentially lose out on this guy. What are your thoughts on that, Keithy?
Yeah, it's possible. There's another free agent out there. He's a high quality catcher.
A little bit.
I'm wondering if we would pursue that individual, if that is the case. I'm just being really patient. The knee-jerk reaction is we got a new owner. This guy's got a lot of money. Get everybody now. Just throw a ton of money at them. But, just because a guy has a ton of money doesn't mean we should spend it quickly and foolishly,
Right.
So they're doing due diligence right now, and that just might mean we lose McCann. Because McCann may be asking for a little bit too much. The guy is over 30. He wants 4 years. Not sure what the price is. Rumor was we were willing to go to 4 years, but we may be looking for that 4th year to be an option. I don't know. So
All right, let's start off there. Are you comfortable in giving McCann a 4-year? Okay, so let's do it this way. Would you feel more comfortable giving McCann a 4-year deal, or would you feel more comfortable giving Real Muto a 5 or 6-year deal?
not
Year deal.
will
Please.
yield the deals. Not a 6-year, 5-year. I am comfortable with Real Muto. I think he's 2 years younger, almost 2 years younger, and his upfront output on the team, upfront meaning his beginning years of the contract, will be much greater, I think, than McCann. McCann is good, but you're going to get a little more run production and a little more power out of Real Muto than you would McCann.
Right. All right. So just want to catch up on some of the comments here. Vic Rosati, who's a new name. If we pop that up, we're going to be blocked here, but that's all right. Leave that there. I forgot to introduce producer Joe at the forefront. We were having issues here. All right. So the Phillies are a distressed ball club right now. I'd rather take on Wheeler for 4 years, 96.5. Get them to eat part of his contract and a couple of prospects, scoop him up with a shovel. Prospects are a crapshoot. I'd rather have Wheeler than overpay Bauer. Thoughts? So you're 100% right that prospects are a crapshoot. We've had prospects that have fizzled out, a la Bill Pulsifer and Paul Wilson and Isringhausen, who actually went on to become a solid closer in the league. And then we've had the prospects that Wright and Reyes, so it's all it's up to these guys who are paid big bucks to tell the organization, we think this guy is gonna become something good. I just don't know that the Phillies would do business with the Mets with Wheeler. It's not something that happens a lot during interdivision. These big trades, and the last one that I could remember was the Marlins trading Real Muto to the Phillies. Before that, obviously I'm a Mets guy. Before that, it was Delgado being traded to the Mets from the Marlins, and before that, it was Mike Piazza. So Keith, I'll let you weigh in on that. Potentially overpay Bauer, or give up a few prospects and get Wheeler back.
I think it's a dozen in one hand, 12 in the other. It's you're giving up prospects. Yes, they're a crapshoot, but our farm system is also kind of thin. So if we do make it down a stretch and we're looking at a potential playoff push and we need to make a trade, are we taking away pieces for that extra push? Then you take a look at Bauer and Pulsifer. Bauer and Wheeler. I think Bauer has a bigger upside than Wheeler. I think spending an extra couple bucks to get the last year's Cy Young winner. The guy who's a real student of the game. He's been improving every year. I don't think Wheeler's the right move. And to your point, I think the Phillies won't do business with us. There's a little with us again, Farachi there.
I got a little something on my face.
Yep, you're all great.
What is going on today?
I don't know, but it's
technology.
Probably your connection. But yeah, I think. Long story short, I would love to have Wheeler back. If we got him over Bauer, I would not be upset. However, I think the better move is just to sign Bauer, keep your prospects. A, to build up our system, and B, if we're making that push down the line, we may need those pieces. You can't judge now or in spring training what you're going to need in August to make that playoff push. You just can't, because you don't know what injuries are going to occur. You don't know who on the team is not performing as expected or what holes you need to plug.
Right. Yeah. Is it a risk worth taking at some points? Maybe, maybe not. Let's see what else do we got. Timmy, what's up, buddy? Knicks and the Rangers, most valuable franchise in their respective sports. Yes, they just had the hockey valuations, and it came out with the Rangers number one. And it's Dolan. Dolan does these things, and I feel like he is more involved in the Knicks nonsense than Ranger stuff. All right, what else do we have here in the comments? Tom, Molina, Bauer, Springer, and a trade for Arenado. That's my wish list. Keith, what do you think about that?
Okay. All right. Yeah. I don't know what to say about that. Who wouldn't want that?
Well, I mean, yeah, Molina for 1 year, and then you think about catcher kind of
Well, you
for
have
the
this other
future,
kid.
though,
What's
right?
his name? Alvarez coming up, right? I mean, they say
Yeah.
another couple years for him, but and I think that's the thought behind McCann too. You're not going to sign him as much. Tim mentions in the comments. I haven't seen that, but Real Muto is asking for 7 years. I don't think you're going to give a guy who's walking into his 30-year-old season a 7-year contract. But somebody will. I'm sure somebody will overpay.
For sure. It's well, we'll see what the market says about it, But in a year, and this is what kind of surprises me, in a year where the Mets are coming off a season where they're selling the team. You got a brand new owner come in. This is the only guy in baseball now that did not lose any money. Besides buying the team, did not lose any money from the disaster that was the 2020 season. And I'm gonna switch cameras here so we can get this.
Yeah, I think even the Yankees. While you're doing that, I'll just say real quick. There you go. Even the Yankees came out and said, "Hey, we lost a ton of money last year." Now everybody started freaking out, saying that they're not going to hire free agents. They didn't say that. They're just saying they lost a lot of money. Teams lost money, and the reason why I mentioned the Yankees is they're one of the highest revenue generating teams in terms of their jerseys, their advertising, and all that kind of stuff. So if they're losing money, everybody's losing money. So you're right. We got a huge advantage with Cohen.
Oh, for sure. Okay, I'm back on the better quality. Shows my beautiful face a little bit better. All right. So that's the latest on McCann and the push there. But so we'll keep you updated if anything kind of transpires throughout here. So I do have Mets Twitter up and running and ready to go just in case something comes through here. Real quick, and we'll get back to some of the rumors and whatnot. Real quick, the Mets announced today the minor league affiliate stuff, and really no changes with the four major affiliates. Single A will stay down in Port St. Lucie. High A will stay in Brooklyn. Double A in Binghamton and Triple A in Syracuse. So I guess. Would it be the first year in Syracuse, right? Because it just didn't work out. Welcome back, Rodriguez.
I got to think. I think they may have played 2019.
Did they play 1 year? Did they play 1 year in Syracuse?
I don't remember. I have to look that up. I don't know if they announced it between the 2019 and 2020 season or before the 2019 season. I truly don't remember.
Yeah, partially because this year feels like 7 years combined into one.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up. I'll get back to you on that.
All right. So a couple other things here, and Rodriguez working through his issues here. So we did sign another Trevor Hildenberger. That's going to take up a lot of characters in the back of that jersey. So Hildenberger has pitched for 3 seasons with Minnesota. I believe this is a minor league deal. He is 9-11 with a 5.35 ERA in 131 innings, and he's got a WHIP of 1.39. So not the numbers that you want to see in bringing a potential bullpen guy in here, but you know how these guys go. It's like a revolving door. So you go in one team, out the other, and as the world turns there. So that there's 3 years with Minnesota last year, and again it's 2020. We keep on talking about how 2020 should not be thought about in the same vein as regular season, but he did have an ERA north of 10 last year.
This is the second wrong Trevor, right?
Yes. The first wrong Trevor was a decent Trevor. I mean, he seems to be. He's got the goods, and he seems to have a great personality. He actually tweeted out a little while ago. I guess they were going to do a show tonight. He's got a podcast. I'm not sure exactly what it's about, but he said, I'm having internet problems. As soon as my mom's internet comes back up, we'll let you know.
He must be in Florida, like you and Rodriguez
No.
having internet problems. So,
I'm not.
yeah,
It's my camera. Go ahead.
that's a Hefner. Oh, it's just your camera. I'm sorry. That's
Yeah.
a
No, you're good.
Hefner thing, because both Trevor's actually from Minnesota. He coached them, so he has a little insight on him. So I have to believe that, he had some input to Sandy in hiring this guy, number one, and number two, that he sees something that he has. So in 2018, I believe it was, I read that he had some kind of injury that he was working through. 2019, he was still kind of dealing with it. I heard he was healthy now, but last year was, it's really hard to hold last year against anybody. But his track record has not been great, to your point. Hopefully, Hefner sees something, knows something about him that we don't.
Hildenberger. It's like a
I keep trying.
name of a big ship. Are you
There we
not
go.
still not? Can't hear
you
us?
good now, bro.
Oh,
I
there we
can.
go.
Well, I can hear you. I can hear you, Farachi,
Yo.
and sort of Keith, which is a blessing in disguise.
Peace. Thanks.
A little bit
Just
of
don't talk to me, Keith, because I can't understand you. Only
Oh,
That's so weird.
we're gonna have to go through
Come on
Farachi.
Okay. We can get closed
Sorry.
captioning.
Pretty much.
Closed
Pretty
captioning
much.
for Rodriguez for Keith. A little bit of news just being reported in now is that the Mets are interested in speaking with agents for Liam Hendricks. Liam Hendricks would be a hell of a get. He was the closer for the A's last year, and just pulling up to past two seasons, Hendrick is in 19, really 19, huh? In 2019. He had a 1.80 ERA out of that bullpen, pitched full season, and then in 2020 he continued that trend with a 1.78 ERA. His strikeout percentage in 2019 was 40%, and last year was 37.3. So
nice.
I just remember him just being lights out for them last year, and so now if you think that that's a possibility, and obviously it's in the early stages, but with this guy, with this team, and this GM and this owner, you just never know what would happen if something like this goes from nothing to boom, you sign him. But think about that. You got Edwin Diaz, Seth Lugo, Trevor May, and Hendricks, obviously super early on, but I mean, can't imagine that we could find anything wrong with this type of a signing. And Rodriguez, you haven't been able to weigh in on certain things, so I'll let you weigh in on this one.
Liam Hendricks, that's the guy that looks like he's 1940s gangster or something. You put him in one of those suits. He's got that little squatty
He does
look to
have a
him,
little,
right? Yeah. No, he's fantastic.
He's got a nice beard. He's got a nice beard.
No, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. I'd definitely take him. That's quite a nice little staff we would have there. If Jesus Christ, it's like him, Diaz, Wilson. If we get Wilson back, Justin Wilson, he would be fantastic. I mean, that's a nice staff, man.
Yeah, they should
Trevor
extend
May.
Justin Wilson. I don't know why we haven't done that yet.
Oh, damn! I can hear him now.
It's back.
Dum 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 dum. Yeah, they need to sign Justin Wilson. I don't know what the holdup with that is. Right, he's a free agent right now.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's a lot of guys out there, so I don't know. Maybe not sign him. Maybe keep him on the string there a little bit. He's a fantastic pitcher. I like him. I like Justin Wilson. He's a good guy to have.
Yeah, the lefty out of the pen, and
but that's a trade for us though, right?
No, he's a free agent.
No, he's a free agent.
Is he a free agent?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Great. I'm all in.
Yeah, the one thing going back to Wilson I liked is that he's effective against lefties and righties. But this guy Hendricks, I mean, thought-provoking question. What if we go ahead and just build the hell out of our bullpen to be like the best bullpen and the Major League Baseball scene in the last 20 years and don't really spend on catchers and starting pitching? What do you think about that?
If you're asking me,
Want to be that guy? The guy that was the Yankees guy.
Yeah, poop and
You sit
milk.
there.
I'm gonna poop and milk on that one because here's the thing: when both the bullpen pitchers for a reason, they're in the bullpen for a reason. Okay, it's because they can't pitch prolonged innings. So if you give them too many innings, I think you lose a lot of effectiveness. Even if we have really good guys, you'd have to have everyone in the bullpen be a class 1A type of bullpen pitcher for that to be effective. Because the better starters you have, the longer they go into games. The better bullpen you have because the starters don't tax up the bullpen and they pitch less and they're more effective and you can mix and match and you can have these guys available all the time. But so super duper bullpen and not worry about starters. Nah, I think we need two starters, to be honest with you guys. Not just Trevor Bauer. I think we need another guy, another solid guy like Oridozzi because Mutz, I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. Peterson's a rookie. He could definitely get knocked around a little bit and lose some confidence. Hopefully not. Stroman is not a guy with fantastic stuff. He's a ground ball pitcher and he can get hit hard sometimes. There's a lot of things that can happen. And I'm not going to say anything about Cy Grom ever because I don't want to jinx him and because I love him. But if and Noah Syndergaard, because I refuse to call him by that other name. Noah Syndergaard, you can't really count on him this season. If you want to, I mean, you're putting yourself in peril, but I wouldn't count on him for this season at all. So I think a Bauer and an Oridozzi, a guy like that. Even the guy from Tampa, you know what? I'd be willing to throw a couple of guys down Tampa's way if they want to give it Snell.
I like Snell. I think that's a great move. But to your point, I also agree. I was reading an article where somebody was saying that about the bullpen. That's why I was mentioning it. Just if we focus on there, but
what they say? Did they agree with me? Are they right?
Well, they didn't. It wasn't that they disagreed. It's they were more along the lines. Well, it's a several year process, so that may be something we build up next year and wait for some free agents next year. Such as Lindor, even though Faraci thinks he won't be available. Also, you got to remember Javi Baez. He's going to be available next year, I think.
Wait, weren't we just talking bullpens?
We were, but we were saying if you focus only on the bullpen. But what I'm saying is, you asked if that reporter agreed with you, and I was saying, well, sort of. He was saying if we only focus on the bullpen this year, the building process takes several years. So this year may be a bullpen, and then next year we may look at adding more position players based on the free agency availability.
Look, I'm okay as long as we're going after the right guy. If you guys remember back in the late 2000s when we were going through those disastrous, crumbling years, we tried to build a super bullpen with guys. Wagner was around, JJ Putz. We brought him in. That didn't work out too well, and he was a closer, for Arizona. So I found out what Trevor May was talking about when he was talking about doing a show. He apparently plays video games. He streams video games while he's playing them. So he's him and this other.
He has his own thing going on.
Yeah, so he was going through some internet issues like you were, and he was saying, "Well, keep you posted if my mom's internet comes back on."
So hey, we're not gonna say names, but if I did, I wouldn't say Comcast. Sucks.
Oh, ouch.
Ouchie.
All right, so
Comcast.
All right, so Rodriguez, while you were gone, we talked about Steve Cohen and his. Look at this camera situation I got going on here. All right, let's knock this camera out here. Not me.
You've been fat manned. Oh my God, he's on a roll today. So I think is he trying to tell us to move on?
No. This is I'm having a camera issue. I'm having a camera issue today.
That camera issue real quick. Andy Martino posted up 9 minutes ago on Twitter. The Mets and McCann can probably agree on something like a 4-year, $40 million contract if they put their heads together. I would be okay with that.
Well, we're glad that you're okay with it, Mr. Money.
Money
Well,
in the bank.
that's what we're here to discuss, right? What our thoughts are on these contracts.
Let's
I think that's okay. I don't like
give
the
him
4 years so
12.
much, but
Give him 12. Don't be cheap.
all right.
What, 12
I don't like,
million?
12 million a year. Give him 12
but 4 years, 40
for
million.
4 years. 48
It-
million for 4 years. That's a little
It-
incentive.
It doesn't tie us. It doesn't tie our shoes together if we're trying to make a run down a stretch in another 3 years with a heavy contract. Where Real Muto, if he's out, we might be stuck with a $27 million bench catcher. So
Yeah, that's bullshit.
yeah,
but
right. That's yeah.
But we should not be thinking about this, saying, "What if this happens? What if that?" I
Why
get
not?
it, but because we should be going after the best guys. We shouldn't. Be
I agree. I would
we
rather,
shouldn't.
but for 7 years, you'd be okay with that?
No,
I know.
no. I'm
Okay.
I'm a 5 or 6 year guy at,
We don't know
at
what
the
the
moment,
sticking
because
points are.
if you go with a 6 year contract with Remuto, it takes him to the year to 35. If
Max
you go with a
max 5.
No, because if you go with a 5 year contract with McCann, it takes him to 35. Would you rather have
Well-
a 35-year-old McCann or a 35-year-old Remuto?
I was talking about Real Muto at 5 years only. I wouldn't go. I would go to 5 for Real Muto. I'd only go for 4 for McCann. These are my thoughts because I want him out of there. I want this kid Alvarez in the majors by then. If he's not,
Flip of a coin with
he's got to go.
scrubby ass prospects.
I don't want him on the
that's-
Phillies, though. That's for sure.
That's the point, though. That's the point.
Yeah, you just never know.
If he's,
I don't
he's
wanna-
not going to come up in 4 years, he's got to go. Next.
If he starts getting to talks with the Nationals or the Braves, we got to jump in, man. Sorry.
You can't.
Real
You
Muto?
cannot let Real Muto
Yeah.
go to the Nats
can't.
or the
No, you
Braves.
can't. Unless they're going
So-
to just super overpay him. But you
Then
know.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
Braves
if they're
the
go- if-
Braves are
if
not
they're-
going to ask for him. They already have their star catcher. They released their other catcher because of
Right.
Darno.
But you just never know. Teams within the division, they see other teams doing certain things, and they
Dude, if he doesn't
they-
want to come here, dude,
look at the Yankees.
Money's not
Look
going to
at-
make him come.
Look at the Yankees with Jacoby Ellsbury. They severely overpaid, and they got into it, but because they're the Yankees, it didn't have that much of an impact on them. They just okay,
But
don't
now-
play. We'll sign everybody else.
But
So
now we have that money, so we
Right,
can
so
do
that-
stuff like that.
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. If we sign Remuto for 5-6 years, just argument's sake, and he can't play that fifth year, okay, we're playing. We're the big leagues now. You know, we have a big time owner who can do some of the things that the Yankees used to do when they would have a bad contract. I mean, they bring in guys even with bad contracts.
It's valid.
So-
It's a valid point.
So let's just. I'm comfortable with signing Real Muto until or a top level catcher until they're 35. That's what I'm comfortable with. So that would be 6 years max for Real Muto. I don't want to go 7. I don't want to go 8. Nothing stupid like that. But and Rodriguez, I don't know if you saw earlier. So Tom said Molina, Bauer, Springer, and a trade for Arenado. That would be his Christmas wish list. I wanted to get your thought on that one. We weighed in a little bit already.
I told you guys already that I would love to have Molina for a pitching staff. I don't think that we need much offense from a catcher.
Screw Molina.
And right now, Molina, well, okay. So I'm just being
I hate him.
being realistic. You can hate him, but he's a Hall of Fame catcher.
Oh, for sure.
So if
No
he
doubt.
comes to this team for the next couple of years and mentors the pitching staff, mentors the kid Alvarez, I mean, it almost his contract almost pays for itself because you're getting a Hall of Famer. Basically, he can still play. He can still hit better than 80% of the catches out there. So he'll be a value. I would not trade for Arenado only because I think they're going to try and rape us with that. I mean, I think the trading for Arenado, we got to give up, would be astronomical. But you know what? At the end of the day, his numbers are good. You're not going to get the great Coors numbers. People forget that. And I know, Farachi, you and I had that argument about Coors course numbers and non-course numbers, but it's factually. I mean, we looked at it. His numbers are a lot lower when he's not in course, and that's okay. That's the advantage of being in course. He's still a very good third baseman with and a great defender. He's just not Hall of Fame level. I think when he's out of course, as offensively as I think he should be. But he's
yeah. Coors Field always has that advantage, But I think I said in one past show, I would say that if we were to somehow secure him without getting severely ripped off, we would have to give up a lot. That's obvious. That would be similar to me. Like the impact would be similar to like when we signed or traded for Piazza with the Marlins. I think that'd be a huge pickup. No, he's not going to get Coral Springs. He's not going to get Coors Field numbers, power numbers, but I bet you he'll still hit high 200s, close to 30 home runs. He'll be very productive, and he's a vacuum at third base. We need that.
Right. He's a 280 hitter. I mean, away from Coors Field with 25 home run power like that, 25 to 30 at the most. I mean, that's what his stats show away from Coors Field. But at the end of the day, man, he's a good player. He's really good. So who's to say? I mean, put the trade in front of me. I might pull the trigger then.
But just based off what the press conference when Cohen announced his buying of the team, him and Sandy talking, I don't think trading's the way they're looking to go unless it's down the stretch for a playoff run. That's what I took. I could be wrong. I guess if a deal of a lifetime comes, you can't pass it up though.
Well, that's the thing. The deal. It's in the order of the deal, as some other people have said. If you get something good, you just gotta take it. Just gotta take it.
Yeah, for sure. That threw me way off.
You're fired.
All right. I don't know. Did you guys go through what Anthony had to say? As far as Corey goes, with Arenado is still the best defensive third baseman in baseball. That's a huge value. It is.
Absolutely.
George says, "Let's go Mets. Give me Springer, Bauer, McCann, and some bullpen. Maybe Brad Hand." He's been a name that has been out there, and so yeah, it's weird because Keith, you mentioned the other day when you're looking at projections that they're not, some sites are projecting a full 162 game season, which is what I think they should do, because the thought around everything right now is that you could potentially play the full year, but like Baseball Reference, and it threw me off for a second because Arenado's projected for 20 home runs next year, and I was like, wait, what happened? Did he get hurt? What's going on? I don't know this guy anymore.
Like 300 at bats,
yeah.
right?
330 some at bats.
So it looks like they're looking for like a 100-game season or something like that.
Yeah, and we'll see. Obviously, we'll see with what's going on with the.
I think they'll get a full season in.
I think if anything, hopefully, knock on wood, knock on whatever it is, talk to whoever you believe in. But I think if anything, maybe the season gets delayed by 2 weeks to a month, and then you play out the remaining.
They can play this season just like they played it last year. Forget about division. Forget about all that nonsense, and just play it like you did to 60 games. You could play a whole season that way.
What do you mean?
The way we just played 60 games, right?
Oh, you want to do another 60-game season?
No, I mean you could do 100. You could do 162 game season that the same way they did it. Just keep.
You're talking about the
quarantine.
Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
Okay, all the same protocols.
Makeup games and all that good stuff. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know what America is going to look like in 4 months. Obviously, a year ago today, we didn't know what it was going to look like in 4 months either. So, hey, we could be on the other side of this thing. Vaccines out there, mandatory vaccines for the players. But as far as the fans, to Rodriguez's point, we may see some limited stadiums and empty stadiums again.
But you can get the fans in the second half of the season. Just cut it off until the second half when most of the population, God willing, has been vaccinated and things have calmed down a little bit, and that just start the season the regular way, the same way you started it last season, same way you can start it this season.
Yeah, I mean, we saw fans in the stadium come playoff time with the championship series and the World Series. We saw fans. So it's outdoors, so that helps. You're seeing, and it all depends on what the states are doing. So like in
Sure.
football, the 49ers can't play in their stadium for the remainder of this month, so they're playing in Arizona. So, but we'll see how that goes. But that kind of leads us in, Rodriguez, when you're talking about how they played last year. One of
Mhm.
the major sticking points right now. It's gone back and forth the last couple of weeks, and the last statement that was made, the last memo that got sent out to baseball, was do not count on the DH being in the National League in 2021. Which even like Rodriguez. So Rodriguez, it took you a little bit of time to kind of come around and like this idea. For me,
It
it
did.
wasn't a big deal. For others, like Keith, we were talking about, that cuts down on injuries. I was having a conversation with my mom last night, and she was saying, I don't really like the DH, and I said, but so now you got to choose. All right, mom, you're filling out the lineup card. You putting Dom Smith at first base or Pete Alonso? She was like, "Oh, good point." I said, we're built for a team with the DH, and then on top of it, you
Mhm.
really don't want ugly swings. That swing that DeGrom took a few years back is always going to be in the back of our minds, right? So big decisions now. The decisions become much more difficult if there's no DH, and where are you going to put people? Where are you putting Dom in left field? Then JD Davis goes where? Rosario, is Jimenez able to play? Does Jimenez now have to go back down to make sure that he's playing every day and he's not losing any of his you know
But these are great
the
problems.
rigor? No, it's a great problem to have, but then it's
I
just
remember
like
saying, who the
fantasy
hell is going to
sports
play
when
first base?
it's like fantasy sports when you got two guys for one position and you're like, oh, they're both great options. You plug one in, they got 2 points. The guy on your bench scores 35. So then it becomes really Rojas. What the hell you doing? Why'd you play this guy today? You should have played this guy.
He's going to
So
get more
Yeah,
blame, definitely.
right.
and
So Keith,
it
go for it.
also. I'm sorry, I was just going to say it also lends to the thought where you say, well, our defense really sucked last year, and that was a true detriment to the team, such as Stroman pitching, ground ball pitcher. You want a better glove instead of a better bat sometimes. But what do you do in that point? You put Dom in left field. He's not. I mean, he was okay. He was serviceable, but he's not
Yeah,
that great. We have a drop off if Dom's in left field, right? But what's more important, that drop off, or having his bat in the lineup? So Rojas definitely has some really fun challenges ahead of him. Um, but these are good problems, man. I'm okay with these problems because the problems we've had in the past as Met fans were pretty bad.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
There were no
We didn't.
options.
yeah, there
Yeah,
was no
yeah,
option.
exactly.
So
Mhm.
these, and somebody always gets. I hate that's not a jinx. Truth. Somebody always gets hurt. Somebody's always got to
Mhm.
plug in somewhere else. Somebody
Right.
goes down for 3 weeks. So having that depth will hopefully keep us at a high standard of scoring runs. Problem is that bullpen. All these players coming in, are they going to be able to hold that lead?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if you the differences are minuscule, but you can sometimes you can really they become apparent. As far as fielding percentages go, they're minuscule. I mean, realistically, but Dominic Smith is a fluent first baseman. You could see it the way he moves around the bag, just the way his glove is played. If you're a baseball player and you see Dominic Smith play, you're like, yeah, that's a first baseman. Alonso's a little bit more herky jerky, but he does get the job done, and he did improve. The only slight on Alonso at first base really was the fact that he got too anxious a lot of times and just hurried the play up.
Yeah.
Made a terrible
Yep.
throw because he was in a rush or didn't think to play through. So he was
Right.
all ramped up. So that's really, to me, my only problem with Alonso being a first baseman in 162 games. Not that I wouldn't mind having Dominic Smith come in the eighth inning and ninth inning, get in at bat, play some defense, keep him fresh. Like he said, man, those are beautiful problems to have. Luis Rojas, you're gonna have a terrible time filling out a lineup with all that talent,
Yeah,
But so it's a terrible thing to have.
And real quick, even that one downside you mentioned on Alonso, that's like the negative you give in an interview. It's like a positive negative. He's too excited. He's got too much adrenaline. You can fix that. And the coaches can hone that
That's
properly. Hopefully,
experience.
yeah,
That's just experience
Well,
in the majors. That's all.
I have two problems with Pete at first base. Number one, and it coincides with what Rodriguez said. Just one more step in the conversation is that he forgets that he's got a second baseman, and sometimes he'll range too far over to the right. And go after the ball that he should be going to first. So that's experience, right?
And I can tell you why.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not the working together. The working together, Pete and a second baseman that's there every day, all the time. He knows where he plays. He knows he can gauge the speed. The guy knows Pete's speed. You need that type of familiarity to really mesh and have better defense. So if that's your problem, make Luis Rojas play somebody at second base on a regular. Whoever it is, got to be there with Pete. That'll help Pete become a better ball player. You'll see that in a little bit of time. And
either
I'm sorry, I just wanted to clarify.
no, you're good. And either McNeil or Jimenez at second base, I think either one of them would do wonders for him at first base.
I think Jimenez would help him way more than McNeil. Even though I like McNeil, he's a good defensive guy, But Jimenez is just outstanding and
more range on Jimenez.
More range, he would help him a lot,
Well, range was also an issue. Talk about being excited. Remember, Alonso was stealing second baseman plays.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. Yeah,
but
and that and I've said this just because it scares me. I love him. I love his enthusiasm for the game. But when he stretches so aggressively, every time I cringe because I feel like one of these days it's gonna happen.
He's gonna pop something.
He's gonna pop something. He's gotta just ease it with that. He kind of stabs at it, But
I like him doing that because he couldn't do that if he wasn't flexible and if he hadn't warmed up.
Yeah.
So
I'm still concerned. I'm a Met fan, so.
I'm with you.
But listen, he's so
we have
big.
Dominic Smith, right?
Right.
If he's been stretching like that for, let's say, his whole minor league and now major league career, he's so big he may need those stretches. Those when he dives for those balls on up the line and stuff like that. If he doesn't
I'm only referring to when he's receiving the ball. So a ground ball to short, and he lunges forward with his legs spread. I'm like,
excuse the terminology, but he does balls to the floor when he goes.
Yes, and it hurts me a little bit.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I think he'll be okay though. I think he'll be okay.
I think you're talking about like pregame.
No.
In camp when we were up at camp scenes. Up here down here in Florida, I seen him do some crazy stretching in the outfield. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's strictly during the game when he's receiving the ball. All right, latest. I'm trying to keep watch here on Twitter. Latest is that the Angels are involved in it. Yes, McCann is from Santa Barbara, but the ball seems to still be in the Mets court. And look, if the Mets make the decision to sign McCann, I'm all good. Good catcher. He's made some steps forward in the last couple of years as far as offense is concerned. He's become more consistent. But I do want to I want to hear, just so that we know how loudly to boo him if he comes to Citi Field. If it was that Real Muto just said, no, I don't want to be a Met. I don't want to be in New York. Or if it was some outlandish, the Angels, how they do. If they don't get McCann, are they also talking to Realmuto and talking about like a crazy 8 or 9 year contract like the Angels like to give out?
They are, because Albert Pujols' contract is
coming up
kaput, so that saves them $20-something million. Yep. So they can afford to give Realmuto. And there's another main guy that they have whose contract is going up after Pujols. I think it's another main guy they have for another $20 million. So they can do it.
No, Rendon just signed for 7 years.
Yeah.
And then
he did. Okay. I thought he got that contract.
Trout's
somebody else.
20-year contract and shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Max, what's up, buddy?
Maxie. Max is excited.
Max is excited about screw him.
There he is.
Hey, look, if that is the case and you go out and you get a McCann and a Bauer and a Springer, successful as hell in this offseason. You got Trevor May and whoever else they decide to go in the bullpen.
That would be the
But
best offseason we've ever had.
I couldn't. I mean, it would be hard to, because you think about some of the major moves that we made, and it was Piazza was during the season, and then you go back and you get Keith Hernandez,
getting all the talent. That's three
filling holes, because
guys. And filling holes,
without saying
That's
we really need to get creative around shortstop, and maybe we can start, do like Keith, maybe we should just do the 162 game plan at catcher. If you've been watching us in season 1 and we had the 162 game plan at first base, where we were just one per every game, Neil Walker. Speaking of Neil Walker,
that's it.
Neil, on this date in 2015, the Mets made a trade. They traded John Neese to the Pittsburgh Pirates for Neil Walker, who was actually a solid,
trade. That was a really good
very
trade.
solid guy for a year plus. And then injuries kind of caught up with him. But overall, with the Mets, he played 186 games with the Mets over 2 seasons. So he did have a little bit of an injury thing. And then we traded him in 2017 to the Brewers. But he hit 275, 33 home runs, 91 RBIs in 186 games. And
that's solid.
And he, if memory serves me, he did get injured in the playoffs that year, 2015.
He had some big home runs for us, I think.
He did. He was a doubles machine. But since then, he has gone on to play for the Phillies, the Yankees, and the Marlins.
No, like every team we hate, dude.
Right?
I mean, he wants to get back at us.
Yeah, and he's still I feel like he's like 40 years old, but he's like 32. He's like 32, 33 years old. Was that surprise look, Rodriguez? Mean you want to bring him back?
He's 35.
35.
35?
Yeah.
It's somewhere in between, median age there.
I mean,
I don't want him.
As a bench guy, maybe at the end of the next century, but not really.
We're already trying to figure out what to do with our bench. We don't need a 35-year-old journeyman to come in.
No. That was a joke.
Relax.
Sorry if you if you took that seriously.
Don't get offended.
All right. Here's one tidbit of information that sort of has something to do with the Mets when you think about some of the names, and it's something that we've been talking about. We actually spoke about it last week, and I'm starting to wonder if all these MLB.com guys are just listening to our show for ideas.
Last year that happened a lot.
I believe
right?
So.
It feels like it.
2019, not last year, because 2020 was
2020 we didn't talk about much. 2019.
So last week we spoke about what does it take to be a Hall of Fame pitcher these days, right? Today, MLB.com writes a whole article about how the percentage of pitchers born in each decade that go to the Hall of Fame is steadily declining. And here is a perfect example of this. Just listen to this. This is a perfect example. Max Scherzer, one of the greatest righties of our generation, right? He was with the Diamondbacks, so then he really picked it up with Detroit and the Nationals. Made his debut at the age of 23, and through the age of 35. So age 23 to 35, he's thrown 2,357 innings and won 175 games. Now compare him, and we're not Mets fans, so don't get upset with us. Compare him with Tom Seaver. Tom Seaver debuted at the age of 22. When he was the same age as Scherzer is now, he had 3,622 innings to Scherzer's 2,357. He had won 245 games to Scherzer's 175. And that is, if we did not speak to our point last week where the numbers to get into the Hall of Fame have to change these days, that stat right there proves, I mean, bar none, I mean, hands down, whatever other cliche you want to use, this shows the difference, the overall shift in let our pitchers go out and throw 25 complete games a year to these guys ain't getting 25 complete games in their careers. So and part of this was Is Johan Santana a potential Hall of Fame? Billy Wagner. These guys who were born in a different era. Here's another thing. The decade of the 30s, almost 5% of all pitchers got in the Hall of Fame. The decade of the 40s, this is guys who were born in these decades. 3.7, 50s 2.5, 60s scooched up a bit 2.7, and again these are players born in the 70s. Less than 1% are in the Hall of Fame, and it is absolutely because if you're born in 75, you're certainly not making it to the major leagues until 96, 97 or thereabouts. And that's kind of where this whole thing started happening. Not to the extent it is right now, where guys are pitching on average 5 1/3 innings a game. But if ever we were proven right on the Put It in the Book show, it is with this. I don't know. You guys have anything to add to that?
Actually, what's going to happen is they're going to have to change the way they induct people into the Hall of Fame. And we're calling it out right now. This is going to have to happen, especially with all the new stats they have, because you can't tell me that the DeGrom's last 4 years haven't been Hall of Fame years with that ERA. I mean, the guy's a monster.
Disgusting.
So it's going to redefine the stats to get into the Hall of Fame. It's no longer going to be 300 wins, and some guys are going to have to suck it on that. It might be ERA, it might be whatever funky stat they want to come up with. But it's not going to be wins. That's for sure. Because they're not going to get the innings to get the wins.
It's going to be period of dominance among the league. So if you take, and I think we mentioned this last time too, you take, let's say, and these are numbers that the writers, I think, have in their mind. There's no official, but let's say 7-year period of dominance compared to the rest of the people in the league you faced. Where did you fall? Within that category.
So like a stack rank.
Kind of. I think that's
and if those upper echelon guys within the stack rank get to that, so what's the magic number now? It's certainly not 300 victories like we spoke of. Is it 150, 175? Because
the victories are not going to matter.
It's a period of time.
Right. And certainly not for DeGrom.
Stank.
Put some stank on it.
Stank rack you. Stack rank you against your competitors during that time of dominance within the league. That's going to be what the writers do. I think that's a good suggestion. I don't think certain numbers to hit anymore in terms of pitchers are a really good suggestion. 3,000 strikeouts. It's not the same game. It's just not.
I think ERA is going to be the stat. Look at that.
Hall of Famer right there, baby.
That's fantastic.
That's a Hall of Fame belly. That's for sure.
And it's a Hall of Fame home run that he hit.
Yeah, it's a Hall of Fame belly. Did you guys see that there? That he wanted to come back. He wants to come and pitch one more year and retire with the Mets. That'd be fun to just let him come back for a game. Let him come back for a game and pitch a couple of games, and that's it.
He'd be like the mop-up guy?
He'd have to be AAA back.
He's not a starter, bro. He's not going to start.
No. Well, these days he can pitch 4 innings, be a starter.
Well, all he needs to do is 2 innings, dude. He comes in the 6th inning, and in the 5th and the 6th inning, he comes in, hands it off to the rest of the bullpen. That'd be golden.
So
and let him pinch
hit. Hey, we don't have a DH.
Let him pinch hit.
He could be our DH.
Yeah. And a couple of teams.
So Bartolo, Joe, you bring him up. Bartolo, 247 victories. Is he the last guy to get that high? 247 and 188 in his career, a 4.12 ERA, and obviously his last batch of, he came in 2017. He had an overall, because he pitched for 2 teams, he had an overall ERA of 6.48. And then with Texas, he had an ERA of 5.78. But with Texas, remember, he flirted with a no-hitter. And that's Bartolo.
That's craziness. How crazy is that?
And he was 45 years old.
I mean, it's amazing.
I mean, even up to 2016 at age 43, for crying out loud, the guy was an all-star. He was an all-star with the Mets. In 2013, at the age of 40, he finished top 5 in the Cy Young Award.
That
race.
That blood spinning brought his arm back,
Yes.
and he can just throw, make it move, zip, zip,
Yep.
zip, zip.
Rubber arm.
Rubber arm.
All right, so it looks like nothing's really going to happen as far as signings are concerned during the show. So
As soon as we leave.
As soon as we go, yeah.
As soon as we go.
The Mets have signed Real Muto and Bauer to a combined 14-year deal. Oh man.
Yeah,
so,
right.
So we'll kind of leave it on that note, but we talked about it at the onset, the paradigm shift that has happened with Met, as fans of the Mets, and it's just it's night and day. You think about the last 5 years combined. I think we're in on more upper echelon guys this year than we were in on the last 5 years combined.
Absolutely.
And Max is going there. Yeah, we had Julio Franco. I remember Julio Franco hitting
50.
a dramatic game-winning home run. He was like 49. Yeah, he's like 49 years old.
Yeah,
A dramatic goal. It wasn't a game winner. It wasn't in a way of a walk-off, but he had a go-ahead shot in a huge series against the Diamondbacks. I remember in Arizona. It won the opposite field. But it's yeah. We're talking about all these old guys that we had.
I know. What are we worried about?
Mid to late 40s.
47. Yeah, he 47. Was 47. He played 95 games. He batted 273. I mean, hey.
What can you ask for from a 47-year-old guy, man?
No, and then he went on.
If you can play in the majors at over 40, if you can play in the majors at 40, you're a player, man.
And then I'm not sure if in 2007 we DFA'd him or traded him, but he was with us and went to Atlanta in his 48-year-old year, and that's where he stopped. But I think he went on to play some others.
I think he was lying. Right? I think he was lying. I don't think he was 48. I think he was like 59. Because did you see him? Even though he was dieseled and cut up, that dude had wrinkles upon wrinkles.
Yeah.
And you were a little bit darker complexion. Come on, dude. Come on. What's going on here? You were 59.
That don't
minimum. Minimum.
Max says those were people who wanted to be there and boost the morale with the youngsters. Yeah. No, for sure. The Bartolo was a good guy to have. Franco was a great guy to have, and I mean even last year. I mean, I don't know what kind of an impact he had. I hope he didn't have as much of an impact as what he was doing behind closed doors. But Cano was a great guy to have last year and the year before with
I mean, he's a veteran guy, right? The players respect him as a baller, So I mean.
Wait a second. Okay, so I'm putting 2 and 2 together here with Max, and what he said a little bit earlier about Real Muto with the F Real Muto, and now he's saying we want players who wants to be a Met.
There you go.
There it is.
There you go. Isn't that the truth? Don't you want guys like Trevor
Of course.
Trevor May's interview was fantastic. I loved it. It was nice to see. That the guy said, "Hey, these guys look like they want to win. I want to go to the
He looks like he'll fit right into with the McNeils and Alonsos of the world.
Oh, yeah. The J.D. Davis and those guys. Hopefully, J.D. Davis will still be around, but, we'll see.
They before we wrap things up or get close to it, they just announced the all MLB first team starting pitchers. So, obviously, the best of the best. Trevor Bauer is there.
Mm-hmm.
Shane Bieber of the Indians is there.
Okay.
Shane Bieber, who actually won the Triple Crown in all of baseball.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
In a shortened season, but still.
That's pretty cool.
Jacob DeGrom. Jacob Sygrom.
Come on.
So, wait. So the Mets are on this thing now with that elf in the shelf thing. And, Bauer in the shower. He started that. He's not Met yet, but he did. So now they're with, like, Jake on a cake. They put Pete Alonso on... on Carlton's shoulder, and it's Alonso on Alfonso. Sorry, Keith. Come on, we've laughed at some bad jokes before.
Come on, this is bad.
I just hate the whole elf thing. I think it's weird. I think it's creepy. I'm so glad I didn't grow up with it.
Wow. Yu Darvish
didn't know.
Is on that, and Max Fried from the Braves. So that's your all first team starting pitching.
You Darvish out of
Yu
all
Darvish,
the pitchers in baseball.
Yu Darvish was finished
Had a-
fourth in the Cy Young last year.
They had a great year last year.
Are they just going from last year? Is this from just
Oh
from
yeah,
last year?
This is
Oh,
Every
I'm
year
sorry.
they do first team, second team, and I think they go to third team.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's fair.
How does Cleveland keep pumping out these pitchers? That's what I want to know. Anyway,
okay. I laughed at Bieber a few years ago just because of his name, because
I know.
well, they
that's
teased him
just-
about that too. There was a whole thing
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, but I mean, to win a triple crown, I mean, geez,
60
you know,
games. That's good. Pretty good. Pretty good.
But I have seen pitchers
the
just
light.
like the Ryu, second half of the season. So in the whole
Yeah.
season, who knows what would happen? Rio was still good in the second half of the season, better than most, but he lost to Cy Young.
But
in the second half of the season.
Bieber's been a star for a quick minute
The
already.
Beebs.
So
He's the real Beebs. He's the real Beebs.
I guess.
All right. As we head out. So last week I got accused of poop on milk. Some of the worst trades in December history.
Oh.
Right.
Here we
Guess
go.
what I
Some
got
more
for you
poop on
today?
milk.
Guess what I got for you today?
The best trades in
Doesn't
The
make
best
it
trades of December.
Great.
The
But
best
that's
trades
for
of
this week,
December.
but you still ruined last week, just for the record. But go ahead.
Fantastic. You still, you did still ruin last week.
You know what ruined last week? Your face. Your face ruined last week, Keith. Your face.
Oh, look at that.
All
That's
right.
a terrible thing to say to him.
Aw.
I'm telling your
I
mother.
love you, Keith. All right. Number 5. The Mets
tuned
get
in.
John Olerud. John Olerud from the
Yeah.
Blue Jays. I
Helmet
don't.
head.
We okay. So we traded Robert Person. Do you remember him?
Yeah, he was. He
Preston?
went on. He went on to have a great career.
Robert Person. Robert Person. So we traded.
Some person.
Wow, we traded Robert Person. We got Olerud and $5 million from the Blue Jays.
He was a pitcher? Was Robert Person a pitcher?
Yeah, he was. I don't remember if he was a bullpen guy or if he was a starter, but we don't do right by the Blue Jays, do we? We
No.
we got Syndergaard and
It's
we
Canada,
let Darno
man.
go
It's Canada. Come on.
for a 40-year-old guy.
What are they
all
going
right,
to
so
do? They're going to come after us in New York? Canadians?
A. So Olerud replaced Butch Husky, and clearly Butch Husky to John Olerud. That's a huge upgrade there. No offense to Butch, the guy had power
Good
beyond power.
No offense, Mr. Husky. Joe the producer's best friend, by the way, just so you know.
Pretty. Yeah. We've heard that story. We talked about that story on the show. Number 4
They're
was
lovers,
getting Jesse Orosco. Got Jesse Orosco
The first time?
in 1978. So it was a Jerry Kuzman deal. Jerry Kuzman goes to the Twins.
We grabbed him as a minor leaguer, huh?
Wow, wait a second. So and this never happens. Jesse Orosco was the player to be named later in that deal.
Really?
So we traded Jerry
What a
Kuzman
deal.
for Greg Field and a player to be named later. And then
that guy
so
Field
was,
went out to be a great man. Everybody remembers him.
he was huge. Great. That was December
Huge.
1978, and then in 2 months later, Jesse Orosco was the pitching prospect that was included in the deal. Man,
Thank you.
yeah, that was his first time around. The first time around, he was
Psych.
2.73 ERA.
Orosco.
If I'm looking at this correctly, Greg Field never made it to the majors.
That's crazy, right?
Well, I mean, but you get Orosco. So,
Right, but
and it's gonna wind up being like the trade with Seattle if Diaz does what he's supposed to, potential that he has. Who cares that we got Cano? Who cares that we had this headache?
Well, he did it last year. He was good last year.
Yes, it was that first
What was that ERA
piece
last year?
1.85 or so. But it was those first few he blew his first 4 save opportunities. But outside of that, lights out, and it was just night and day. The sliders were not coming off flat anymore. Next, Keith, I think you posted this. yesterday, the Mets bring in Sid Fernandez in 1983 for Bob Baylor and Carlos Diaz.
I remember Bob Baylor. I remember Bob Baylor.
And you posted that yesterday, right, Keith?
Yep.
El Cid.
El Cid.
El Cid.
El Cid, who once started towards the third base line after a sacrifice bunt. And Rich Mancuso, McCann's going to happen first. Rich, we appreciate you watching. The number 2 is my mom's favorite Met of all time, and that's Hojo, Howard Johnson. And clearly,
mommy liked Hojo.
So yeah, and this was another thing that came out yesterday. I have the Hojo shirt that she passed down to me. I have the Hojo shirt somewhere around. But he was answering some questions on Twitter yesterday. It happened yesterday because it was December or 2 days ago, December 7th, 1984, and was with the trade was with Detroit, and the Mets traded Walt Terrell to the Tigers for Hojo.
Yeah,
and
I remember.
Not only did Hojo go on to do great things with the Mets, he posted 3 30-30 seasons, 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases. Played very very good third base. The arm, could he was a little off sometimes on the throws. But I remember one year, and we tweeted to him on in the Put in the Book Show Twitter account. And he responded back to it, but he had to take over shortstop for a little while in 1990 because Kevin Elster went down with a shoulder injury after he had scooped up a black cat, running in front of the dugout. And
the Black Cats,
right? Well, it was the Giants last year with the black cat running through that stadium. But Hojo played flawless shortstop. He was robbing guys left and right, and it was pretty cool to see. And then when you got Howard Johnson and Darryl Strawberry in the same lineup, it is
30-30.
It's insane. 30. I think Hojo's. There you go. I think Hojo's.
I didn't even have to say it, did I?
Career high was, I think, 38 home runs. Yeah, we appreciate that,
Farachi,
Rich.
stop talking for a second.
Yes.
Stay still. Close your mouth.
You gonna say I look like Hojo?
Wow. So yeah, Hojo.
Producer Joe, ring us a picture of Hojo.
Bring up a picture of Hojo and put me next to it. While he does that, number 1 is Gary Carter. Gary Carter brought in. The Mets had
Hall of Fame
by whoever wrote this, by their estimate, 3 iconic catchers in their history: Jerry Grody, Mike Piazza, and Gary Carter.
Yeah,
Carter came to the Mets for Hubie Brooks, Mike Fitzgerald, Herm Willingham, and Floyd Humans. Let's see. Can we? I could see it.
What? Uh-oh.
I could see it.
Mama Farachi.
Wait.
You gotta find
dun.
You gotta find one of his favorite picks. And
yes.
the young balding.
Yes.
Oh.
But he had the balding here. Wait, I'm not on camera right now. He had the balding here. I've got it all over. So no, I have it here. So there we go. That's not bad. Hey, look,
wow.
I would not mind being compared to Hojo there. Do you guys remember when we were
Next
going?
Next time we see him, you go up to him and say, "Dad, Daddy."
Yeah.
You remember the guy 2 years in a row at Port St. Lucie said, "Oh, you're a Matt Harvey guy." I don't know.
You look like a Met somewhere.
Oh, that guy was fun. All right, so yeah, I mean, with Gary Carter, obviously you get a Hall of Fame catcher. You get some great couple 2 or 3 great years out of him. Helps us win a World Series. Just clutch as clutch can be. And you trade 4 guys and see in that example, you're taking a risk with a guy like Hubie Brooks to even though it's towards the tail end. But obviously, they traded 3 guys that the Expos wanted in that trade, because you're not trading Gary Carter unless you're getting
He
a
was the
boatload
missing
in
piece,
return.
though. He was
Yes.
our missing piece. The
Right.
same way right now we're filling up the slots that we need to be filled up. That's the same thing they did with Gary Carter, man. And that
100%.
led to a championship and a great pitching staff.
100%. And guess what's going to happen this year, baby?
Same old.
Boom! All right. And now I'm saying that the Mets were at the last second. The Mets removed Mookie Wilson.
Thank
that
God.
Keith.
Wow.
Imagine Mookie Wilson. What the hell would who would have hit the ball through Buckner's leg? Hold on. Who would have hit the ball through? But see, that's the course of history.
Cohen be holding right now?
Yes.
Whose balls would he be holding?
That's the type of thing that changes the course of history. You include Mookie Wilson in that deal, and that we might not have won the World Series that year.
Nope.
Who knows?
Holy shit.
Cats start sleeping with dogs. Things happen. Who knows?
The cat
That was in the
is out of the
Cardinals
bag.
trade? We were going to give up Wilson?
Yeah, originally it was Hubie Brooks, Mike Fitzgerald, Herm Willingham, Floyd Humans, and Mookie Wilson.
Damn.
Luckily, the Mets held on to
Thank
Wilson throughout the 80s, still managed to trade for Carter.
Mookie Wilson was such a hometown favorite that Mets would have got a lot of fan backlash on that one.
Wow.
I know.
There he is. See?
There he is. Nice bottle of champagne, Mookie. That's the real Mookie. None of those other Mookies. Get out of here.
Howie Rose just put a real, elder statesman comment on Twitter. The winter meetings were a lot more fun before social media and all these rumors. We love the rumor. Talking about, we need to know.
Howie Rose?
Howie Rose is a super traditionalist and whatnot. I mean,
he's pretty old though. It's true.
But he welcomed Bob Costas. Bob Costas joined Twitter the last couple days, within the last couple days, and he was like, "I don't know how to do this. Do I retweet? And then Howie Rose retweeted saying, "You're doing just great, buddy." Man,
that's true.
Yeah, but would you? I mean, none of us are in favor of not having rumors and not being able to do this show, right?
No, I like him. Keith,
come on, Howie.
That's the whole fun of
poop and milk, Howie.
That's
poop and milk on Howie.
Yeah,
poop and milk. Keith, wakata his.
No, you can't fuck it to Howie Rose.
He could.
We
For
name
that
the show.
remark, he could.
Name the show. We'd have to rename the show.
Oh, but he doesn't. He doesn't like us.
Yeah, that's true. All right. And speaking of Wakata, Keith, you got a Wakata for us this week?
I don't. I didn't really prepare one.
I know. Sometimes you get so worked up during the show that you have one prepped and ready to like you think of something and you have multiple choices at that point.
I can just give a Fakata to every single team except for the New York Mets in the NL East. I hope you do not get any free agents. I hope, as a matter of fact, you lose your best players. I hope you. I hope that Freddie guy at first base bats .210 this year. I hope Bryce Harper continues to win.
Freddie and Brian McCann.
Nobody else. Let's go Mets. Fakata.
Boom.
There it is. Well deserved.
All right. So let's wrap this bad boy up. Holy shit, Rodriguez is Captain America. Oh, look at you with the Captain America shield in the back.
Damn.
All right. So let's close this bad boy out, and we'll go round robin here as we always do. Final thoughts. We'll start with you, Rodriguez. Cap.
Puerto Rican flag. Yeah, I'm glad to hear things are starting to heat up. There's McCann rumors, there's Springer rumors, Bauer's all over the place taking a shower. There's a lot of things going on, man. These rumors are great. We can play with the big boys again. It's been a while since I felt so confident that we could get whoever we want because we need them. We don't have to trade our whole farm system. There's free agents out there to help us fulfill our needs. Love it. Met fans, be excited. Be very excited. Don't be angry yet. We'll be angry for you. Exactly. We always are. You know, it's like we're like the Hulk, right? We're always angry, no matter what. Always waiting.
That's
for
the
an
secret,
excuse.
right?
That's the secret.
That's the
That's
secret.
the secret. We got Mr. Fakata here, so we know about anger. So
Yes.
I'm all good Met fans. Let's do this. It's gonna be a
You're
great
throwing a
year.
no-hitter.
You're throwing a no hitter.
That's gonna be legend. That's legendary. I'll remember that till the day I die.
That was great.
Keith.
So I'm gonna throw a little poop and milk.
Oh, boy. That's surprising.
I am.
Surprising.
I'm very patient, and I'm okay with the way things are going.
Crazy man.
But I will not believe we're getting these big name players until we do. I need to see something.
That's fair.
You know, I'm not saying that we won't. I'm not saying that Cohen's hasn't said anything that he doesn't intend to do. But you know, we made some nice moves, but we haven't done it yet.
But we can, and that's the biggest thing we haven't been able.
We
to
hope,
do.
right? So
we have the money and resources.
Cohen's also
to
a
do
businessman. Is he saying to himself first, "Hey, I want to see a little bit of a return investment before I go over 200 million and spend all this money"?
He's a Mets fan.
Well,
he's a Mets fan. He's
nuts. I'm just giving a different.
But Keith, if you believe when he says that he's not going to make, you know, that it's not going to be a trade off season, then you should believe that when he said, you know, I'm not in this to make money. That's what my business is for.
He has Mookie's.
It's an expensive hobby.
He has Mookie's baseball.
$440,000.
Yeah,
He's a Mets fan, bro.
Listen,
he's nuts.
All I'm saying is I'm not excluding it or saying it won't happen, but I'm just saying I will believe it a little stronger when I see it happen. That's it.
I believe it can.
Believe that.
I believe it can.
Believe it.
Keith, you're gonna go crazy. I know you. You're gonna lose your freaking mind.
I'm good so far.
Yeah. Okay.
I just saw a new Elf on the Shelf thing. It is Noah with a boa. Noah Syndergaard on Twitter with a boa constrictor around his neck.
That's kind of good, actually.
And then somebody responded back to him saying, "And yet you're afraid," because you know he's got this rivalry with Mr. Met. So this person responded saying, "And yet you're afraid of Mr. Met." So can't wait for that to kind of transpire there. All right.
I hope he becomes Thor. I really want to call him Thor again.
And I do believe we'll see him make some kind of an impact this year. I think he'll be back middle of June to around the All-Star break. If it's a normal season, and you know we play it as such. So I echo everybody's sentiments. I love the fact it will have. This is the way, George. Tell him.
There it is, Mandalorian.
I love the fact that we're even in the conversation that because last year and the year before and the year before that and the year before that, all these big free agents never heard a thing about the Mets. It was let's take this, shortstop and let's make him a left fielder. This is creativity at its best. So thankfully we're out of that business at least, right?
I never heard the word creative used.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to do. And you know what I wonder with this guy Cohen, because of the way he's been on Twitter and the way that he does things, I would not be surprised if he somehow went out there and he says, you know what, maybe it's time we get creative for catcher or something, like just to get the fans going, because that. I mean, he's like the Noah Syndergaard on Twitter of owners.
Didn't he?
The good news, bad news thing.
Didn't he tweet?
He did. Yeah, we talked about it. Well, I think while you were having some issues, but yeah, he said keep me up to date.
That's what I told you. I was listening to Craig Carton real quick, and he was saying the 10 minutes that I listened, I forgot how terrible this guy is. I'm so glad he was off the air, and now I'm upset that he's back. He said he was challenging Cohen to follow him on Twitter, and if he doesn't, he's gonna have a real problem with him, and this, that, and the other thing, and it was so stupid. I was like, I can't even listen to the guy.
What is he talking about?
It was just dumb. And the other guy said, well, maybe it's because you're a Yankee fan. He don't want to follow you.
There you go. That's probably more likely.
All right, and then I know Rich joined us for a little bit, but his latest on Twitter said that the Mets are, close to McCann and in talks with Springer now. So,
Rich, let us know, Rick. Let us know.
Let's see what happens. But that about wraps it up for us. Make sure to follow us all over social media at the PWITB show on Twitter and Instagram. Put It in the Book show on both the Facebook group and the Facebook fan page. We're up to over 750 people in our group, and I remember when we were struggling to get to 100. So good
That's
progress
right.
there. And then, of course,
Thank you.
the mother site, popculturepros.com. Head over there. Lots of giveaways. There's a new giveaway that's going to come up tonight at 9 o'clock. Right now, all the screenings for all the movies are virtual. So it doesn't matter where you are in this wonderful country of ours, whether you're in a city that we actually physically give away passes to, or if you're not in a city, in one of the cities.
He's watching.
Keith,
he's
Cohen is watching, baby. Can you ask him what's going on, please?
He said that get ready for a big announcement. What's the big announcement? Hold on.
He lost another 2 pounds.
Peed on the carpet.
Dog peed on the carpet.
All right.
Dog peed on the ball.
Hey, listen.
That'd be terrible.
$16 billion. I don't think you should have carpet in your house.
440,000.
You should get a nice marble floor. There you go. Pick the nose.
Use the dog as the mop.
Some shows to watch. Kyle and Jader show happened on Monday, as did the Empire 161 show, where they are now going into some little bit of Yankee news that's going on in the world, as well as some Mandalorian talk. Spoiler alert on that. So if you ever if you're watching the episodes as they happen, go ahead and tune in. If you're not, don't tune into that. Yesterday, the Just Too Sweet show. Oh,
oops.
Oh boy. Mandalorian's in Fortnite now. My son's into it now. Tonight, obviously, the Put in the Book show. Tomorrow is going to be the We Stomped You Out show. So tomorrow we have a triple header on the network. We Stomped You Out at around 6. The A to Z program with Eric Zant, who I was the very first guest on the show last week, and I got to say it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. We talked a lot of pop culture talk. We talked comic books. We talked Logan.
Comic books? What?
Yeah, we talked comic books.
Ooh.
You should go back and listen. You go back and watch.
Ooh.
We also, very surprisingly, he put me on the spot with some COVID-19 vaccine talk. So that's at 7:30. He's got a very good guest on. I don't have all the information in front of me, but trust me, just watch. And then at around 8:30 to 9 o'clock, the Four Quarters show returns with Dave and Align. And if you've not watched that before, very unique. They go through 4 different topics, one in each quarter. They have a mini halftime show and an overtime, which they count victories on. There's a winner every week. So a lot of things happen on the Pop Culture Pros network. Hopefully soon we get the music stuff going. We will be starting a weekly. Maybe we're going to talk to about 3 to 4 different holiday movies per episode leading up to Christmas time. So that'll be a lot of fun. So tune in. PopCulturePros.com. Top right-hand corner is where you can follow us all over social media. So that'll wrap it up for us this week. We had a nice little show here full of nuggets and news and not much poop and milk, but not much signings. We were hoping that we would get one of the signings, but the guy standing behind Keith kind of let us down tonight.
Yeah, he's got nothing to say.
All right. So for myself, for my boy Rodriguez, my buddy Keith, and producer Joe behind the imaginary glass door, who I forgot to announce at the beginning of the show, who did a phenomenal job. And maybe I do look a little like Hojo, yeah? He's got a little catching up to do when it comes to hitting with me. But yeah, a little bit.
Mama Ferrari.
All right. Well, there's apps for that now, so I could take my mom's face and Hojo's face and see. It might just come out to this.
Dude, do it. Do it.
If anything, I would do it just for the bankroll. I mean,
yeah, just funny. All right, we will talk to you guys next week, and as always, we'll keep you up to date. And if anything goes down, we might pop up a video or two. But until then, we will talk to you guys next week. Have a great week. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you next week. Peace out, everybody.
Later. Let's go, Mets. Let's go, Mets.